Hello, good people. Welcome to another Thursday night race, bringing you brief highlights of the RCI GT4 Championship. This week we are at Circuit Paul Ricard. Once again, it is a single qualifying session, two 30-minute races, GT4s going around this beautiful track in France. As we all know, it's a Marmite track. Some people love it, some people hate it. And I can guarantee that if you are in a KTM today, you probably hate it a bit more than other people. Qualifying started in the dry. We had Nathan Wisniewski on pole position with a 2:05.3. Sean Buck in P2, similar position to last time out, but also in the 2:05. And then the next car was Nico Vlaminckx with the 2:06. Phil Roberts in P4, Lucas Wick in P5, Dami Ayo in P6, Gergely Mazak in P7, Willie Pope in P8, Christopher Verboven in P9, Nieromiski in P10, Jazic in 11th, Robin de Groot in 12th, Ian Marshall in 13th, Alfie Battles in 14th, Jack Haynes in 15th, Krivoshev in 16th, Seb Buss in 17th, Mark Wingham in 18th, Richie Hartley in 19th, James Birtwistle in 20th, Sam Phelps 21st, Alex Walker 22nd, Joe Gleason 23rd, Stephen DeVoist in 24th, Peter Jakob 25th, Stefan Miller did not set a valid lap, neither did Johannes van der Meer or Andy Yates. So that's the grid going into the start of the race. Should be a fun one. Lots of opportunities for overtakes and potential 3-4 wide situations. Let's go have a look how it goes. We joined the grid with our pole sitter Nathan Wisniewski, and we approach the start finish straight and lights are green. The 422 Porsche with a nice launch away from Sean Buck is in P1, claims the dominant line going into turn 1, and the cars behind are jostling for position already. There's a potential 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and Nathan gets cleanly away. He is clear up into P1. The car's trying to file out behind him, and Nathan is away. As expected, he dominated qualifying, and it looks like he may be on course to dominate the start of this race with little competition as it stands. Sean will be looking for a way to catch up to him as soon as possible, but it looks like he's already lost out to Nico Vlaminckx. Nico Vlaminckx up into P2 before the start, before the finish of the first sector in race 1. Very or relatively clean grid so far. Oh, there's a couple 3 wides in the back again, and we're onto this long straight at the back, the leader pulling away, and by lap 2 we already have some action. It's Ole Krivoshev and Seb Buss. Krivoshev in the 44 Audi and Buss in the 33 Porsche, and Ole just runs wide. Ole runs very wide, allowing Seb Buss through. And I think he's going to try and look for a cutback at the end of the final corner. There's nothing doing there. Seb Buss is cleanly away. In the background, we have some cars fighting for position. Damiayo going a bit left, right, trying to find his way past. Meanwhile, Seb is pulled away from Ole, and onto lap 3. It's Phil Roberts and Willie Pope going down the Mistral Straight. It's a Ginetta and an Aston Martin, and we know the Ginettas are not particularly fast around here. Top speed severely lacking in some situations, and yep, Willie just gets up on the inside, and the Ginetta runs very wide. Phil Roberts struggling to control that car currently. It comes back nicely enough, and he's behind Willie. Nope, Willie's run wide also. Willie's run wide, and I think that's let him back through. Also on lap 3 we got Lucas Wick and Nico Vlaminckx. Side by side is the chunky Chevy and the Audi. The 49 Audi losing out to Nico Vlaminckx. Nico Vlaminckx also running wide to hot on the brakes there. Cannot keep the car, get the car stopped. Nico Vlaminckx is behind as Lucas Wick gets the corner first, and we're back on the start finish straight. There's 5 cars justly from P3 to P7 it looks like. Willie Pope bringing up the rear of that pack in P6. It's going to be a battle to keep an eye on as the race goes on. However, up onto lap 4, the Ginetta, fantastic on the brakes, doing a great job of getting up to Nico Vlaminckx side by side. They're going to find a way working with each other or not. Yep. Phil Roberts is first into the chicane. Phil Roberts is good on the brakes. Phil Roberts does not lose control of his car. The 225 Ginetta that could is on its way. He's got past Nico Vlamingh and is now looking at Luke Wick in front. This is going to be a fantastic job by Phil Roberts so far. And yeah, Lucas is going to have to keep an eye on his rearview mirrors because it's going to be coming for him. But once again, we're back onto the straight, and we know that Chevy can keep up with him. On lap 4, Phil Roberts having to defend from Nico Vlamingh in the Chevy. No top speed. Nico Vlamingh takes the inside. Phil does not really fight him. Assumes that he will make it work in the twisty corner sectors of the track, and he's going to have it all to do again. All the cars running slightly wide over there. The stewards will be having a look, but I think that will be accepted as part of racing. Meanwhile, on lap 4, Dami Ayo seems to have dropped all the way down the field from the qualifying position. He is now chasing Oleg. Oleg too seems to have slipped back a lot further than where he qualified, so both drivers starting a bit further up the field. Dami Ayo losing control of the car. Lost control of the car, and Oleg keeps his position. He could not make that stick. P19 and P18. Ole runs wide. Ole runs wide. They are now side by side going into the next corner. Ole may have the better exit, but I think Dami's got the line into the next corner and makes that stick. Once again, we join the grid as we approach the start finish line. Is Nathan Wisniewski in P1, Buck in P2, Vlamingh in P3, and Wisniewski's away. Wisniewski's got a good start on everyone. It looks like he's claimed the dominant line into turn 1. And that Chevy is making a move already up on the inside. Looks like he's going to be up from P3. Is he going to make it past P2? Yes, he is. Oh, no, he's not. The Aston Martin's fighting back. Meanwhile, Nathan is pulling away in front. The Ginetta's having a little look at the back, see if he can find his way through. He knows he's good enough on the brakes, but he would have to get in front of these cars before they get to the Mistral Straight because he will be losing speed up there. Yep, and the 22 of Sean Buck seems to have lost out to Nico Vlamingh at the start of this race. Logistical nightmare, having a bit of a logistical nightmare there himself. And yeah, it's now the Chevy up into P2, while P1 runs away with it from pole position. Nathan Wisniewski in pole, sticking with P1 all the way out of the first few corners. We've got Nico Vlamingh up into P2 and Sean Buck in P3. Meanwhile, it's lap 2. It's Krivoshev in P18, having to defend from Seb Boss. He runs very, very, very wide. Allows Seb Boss right past, and Seb in the Porsche will not look that gift horse in the mouth. He's ahead of him, heading onto the straight, and behind him we have 3 cars battling for position. Meanwhile, but Ole has lost that position. Seb Boss. Ole will be dropping back to P19. Seb Boss will be in the lead from him. Phil Roberts on lap 3. We're on the Mistral Straight. The Ginetta that could is doing fantastic to stay up in P5 still. He's got Willie Pope for company behind him in the Aston Martin. Willie Pope is chasing him down. I cannot imagine that Phil Roberts can find any more top line speed here, and he's just going to lose out. He runs very, 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 very wide at the end of that straight, and he rejoins behind Willie Pope. I think Willie Pope may have been distracted by the rejoin behind him, because he too was run also very wide and allowed the Ginetta right back. We're on to lap 3, where Lucas Wick and Nico Vlamingh are jostling for position as well. Remember, Vlamingh got past Lucas Wick in the first corner, and it looks like Lucas Wick is through. So apologies, got past Sean Buck. So Lucas Wick has done a very good job of getting up from P5 currently all the way up to P2. He is now past the Chevy and crossing the line. He is definitely in P2, leading from Vlamingh, with a Ginetta for company behind. And here's Phil Roberts, speaking of lap 4. He's side by side heading up to the chicane at the end of the first sector. Nico Vlamingh cannot really do too much about this. The Ginetta is very good on its brakes. It's first to the corner, and he shows the Chevy his lights, and away he goes. He'll be hoping he could pull out a little bit of a gap before the straight, because we know that Chevy is going to be coming back for him on the straight. Meanwhile, up in front, we've got Wisniewski. Nathan's just running away with it, while the battle behind him rages on. And here we go. Like we said, Nico Vlamingh is going to have a look at Phil Roberts once more. Phil Roberts a bit of a sitting duck right now on the straight. Is he going to defend? Nope, he sticks to his line. He keeps the outside line. He's looking for a better line through. And it looks like, yep, Nico Vlamingh has cleanly passed his back end line before the braking zone. Not too much the Ginetta that could do right there, but he will be pleased with himself so far, keeping it in P4. He's within touching distance of a podium position right now. And there he goes looking for position again on the brakes. Meanwhile, on lap 4, we have Dami Ayo and Ole. Ole in the 44 Audi, Dami in the 111 Mercedes. And it looks like Ole's running wide. Allow Dami up on the inside, and Dami is going to take this opportunity, it looks like. Oh, a bit of a slide, a bit of a wobble. Oh, it looks like the car was blending into the paintwork there. Some chameleon action from Dami. I'm not sure if that was part of the plan. And once again, Ole's run wide. It looks like he's allowed Dami up alongside him. It looks like he's struggling a bit for traction coming out the corner, and Dami's through. Dami's through on that pass. And on lap 5, we had Ian Marshall and Jack Haynes battling for position. Jack Haynes and the fellow Mercedes car out there. Ian Marshall in the Aston Martin. Both popular cars in GT4s. They're side by side. They fight for position. Jack Haynes bullying Ian Marshall and claiming that position for himself. He was first to the inside. He made the corner his. The 118 Mercedes is clear through on Ian Marshall. That was for P12 and P13. Now, Jack Haynes will be chasing down Burt Russell in front of him. On lap 5, we had Sam Phelps and Seb Boss battling for position. Sam Phelps and the Porsche Cayman. And the 78 neon yellow Porsche Cayman. And he's running very wide. Once again, Seb Boss gets through. I think Seb Boss may have some... Oh, nope. Sam Phelps is back on the inside. It's Porsche on Porsche. They have similar braking abilities. They're going to be fighting themselves. Meanwhile, Dami Ayo is sniffing for positions behind them. It's lap 5 as they cross the line. And Sam Phelps skips the position in front of them. Once again, we're on board with this battle. Dami Ayo waiting for any potential way through. Oh, Seb Boss is having a look at Sam Phelps in front, and he just allows Dami Ayo through on the outside. They're going to be battling for this corner. Nope, Dami's better on the brakes into the corner this one time, and he makes it past. He makes it past on Seb Boss. Now it's going to be his turn to chase down Sam Phelps. It looks like this recovery drive may be on for Dami, but we'll see where that happens and him in the race. Sam Phelps defending very well in front. Meanwhile, Willie Pope in front has a drive-through. He has a drive-through, and he's now chasing Sean Buck for position. It's Willie Pope and Sean Buck on lap 6. With 22 Aston Martin makes it past the 361 Aston Martin. What's it with the bright yellow colors on the liveries today? Very easy to make out your car, Willie Pope. I see you. Good driving. Sean Buck, though, making the position stick for him. A bit of a slide on the exit, but we know that Aston is a very stable car, and he makes that stick. Once again, it's Seb Bossa and Sam Phelps battling for position after Dami Ayo has found a way past both of them. It's Sam Phelps in the 78. And he's run wide. He has just run extremely wide once again. I think he's struggling a bit with that corner. Oh, and the 33 has had a bit of an incident. Could not keep control of the car on the exit of the final corner. Carried a bit too much speed, and looks like he is dropping positions. He has dropped 2-3 positions, and that's very unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, on lap 7, we have Jack Haynes in the 56 Mercedes trying to defend from Ian Marshall in the 118 Aston Martin. Is there going to be any opportunity for him to make a move? Yep, the Aston Martin late on the brakes. Very, very good driving there. Very good, decisive driving from Ian Marshall. Good safe driving from Jack Haynes to keep the position open. And they fall back in line, chasing down James Burt-Russell in front, who will be enjoying watching the battle in his rearview mirror, if he has any time to pay attention to it, that is. Also on lap 7, we have Nico Vlamix and Lucas Wick once more. This is on the sharper end of the field, fighting for the podium. It's a Chevy chasing the Audi down. They have managed to drop Phil Roberts and the Ginetta back a little bit. There he is. The Chevy back up into P2 from Lucas Wick. Some good driving. Some very good driving from Vlamix. He will be happy with his performance so far. A little upset that it's allowed Nathan Wisniewski to get past with all the battling that's had to happen. But currently he's up into P2. It's lap 7. There's a lot of the race to go. But you'd rather be in the lead defending for most people. Meanwhile, on lap 8 is Alfie Batholt and Robin de Groot. Going down the Mistral Straight, it's Audi and BMW. We know they've both got the speed, but the Audi's got the slipstream and manages to pull in front of the BMW of Alfie Batholt. Alfie wisely tucks in to try and gain some speed, approaching the fast right hand at the end of the Mistral. But yeah, very good pass from Robin de Groot. The Audi is charging forward as you would expect. Some good driving from both drivers. Alfie looking for a way back, but currently no way back for him. It's on lap 8 is the 333 of Stefan Miller defending from the 361 of Willie Pope in that bright yellow Aston Martin. Look at the pack of cars coming down the straight. Everybody trying to find an advantage on the other driver. And he sets it up the inside. He makes it stick, but drivers, oh, there's a very wide Porsche in front of them. Oh, the 361 of Willie Pope does well to avoid any contact on the rejoin. But now he knows that he may have a bit of a job in front of him to chase down the Porsche. Meanwhile, on lap 9 is Sean Buck and Phil Roberts. Phil Roberts in the Ginetta that could. Seems to be struggling a bit once everyone has got into rhythm. There's not so much he can do on the straights. He gets out of the way. And yeah, Sean Buck just gets alongside him. I mean, he has dropped back from P2 currently, and he's trying to find his way back to the podium positions. So he's now in P4, the hunt for P3 and P2 in front of him. Meanwhile, Phil Roberts is here, just waiting to pounce on any mistake that happens. He's doing a very good job with that Ginetta currently. We're on to lap 9. It's Willie Pope and Sam Phelps. These two have been going at it hammer and tongs throughout this first race. And they must be having a great battle. Oh no, Sam Phelps runs wide. It's Sam Phelps' turn to run wide again. These final two corners haven't proven a bit of an issue for both drivers, it seems. And yep, Willie's through. Willie is through on Sam Phelps. This battle for P17 and 18 continues to rage on. And we have Seb Buss in the background having a look. Meanwhile, Nico Flemings and Lucas Wick. This is for P2 with Sean Buck in the background trying to find his way past as well. It's lap 10. And it's... Oh, what a shot. What a shot going into the fast right-hander. It's the Chevrolet on the inside. He's going to have the better line for the next corner. He pulls ahead of the Audi R8s. Good on the brakes. Closes off any potential cutbacks. And, yep, the Chevy is up into P2. We have the Chevrolet of Nico Vleminks in P2. Meanwhile, on lap 10 is Seb Buss and Sam Phelps. Once again, this mystery straight providing great opportunities for cars to overtake, look for opportunities. It's Porsche on Porsche, though. So both drivers will know the capabilities of the other cars. And the orange Porsche's on the inside. And away he goes. Oh, my word. He's gone very, very wild, Sam Phelps has. And, yeah, I think he may have been scared of the car on the inside. Seb Buss has made it stick. Seb Buss and the 33 Porsche Cayman is up into the position, and we're back again on lap 11. It's Lucas Wick and Nico Vleminks. This battle also has been raging for most of the race. This battle for the podium, bunching up. We see second, third, fourth, and fifth. Maybe second, third, fourth, and fifth all in the battle. Oh, it looks like two potential overtakes in one corner. Is it gonna stick? The Audi is making it past Nico Vleminks. Meanwhile, the Ginetta behind is also trying to make it past. Nope. The Chevy has the better line into the complex. Phil Roberts with a great pass. He may have to give up that position on the straight though. But currently it's Nico Vleminks defending from Lucas Wick with all he has. Vleminks in P2, Lucas Wick in P3. Lucas Vleminks takes the outside. Seems to be much faster down the straight for some reason. Yep, and the chunky Chevy has to tuck back in behind the R8s. Those two are having so much fun. The Ginetta losing out again to the Aston Martin behind. The straights must be the bane of his life currently. Meanwhile, lap 11, we have Jazz H and James Birtwistle battling for P11 and P12. Jap pulls out to the inside, approaching turn 1. Is he going to make it work? It's hard on the brakes. Both cars not yielding. Very good driver in the 29. Just about makes it through. Oh, nope. He has run wide. He has run wide, and it looks like he's going to be very slow on his rejoin onto the track. James Birtwistle makes it past, and Damiayo sneaks past alongside him. Oh, unlucky Jaw. He went for the pass and couldn't make a stick. Now Damiayo having a look at the position up in front. Meanwhile, lap 12 is Phil Roberts and Gergely Mazak. Phil Roberts and the Ginetta trying to defend from the Alpine of Gergely Mazak. Two, should we say, top speed challenge cars going down the straights, but it looks like the Alpine has the better speed this time around. He's first into the fast right-hander. He has the better line going into the complex. Oh, what an attempt by Phil Roberts hanging around the outside, but he cannot. He just doesn't have the brakes in this situation, and looks like he will have to lose out that position. It's lap 12 is Mark Wingham and Seb Buss fighting for position once again, coming out the fast right-hander. Seb Buss and the orange Porsche Cayman we've seen in some fantastic racing so far. Mark Wingham just keeps a better line. He keeps a better line. He makes it past him into P19. All these cars having a very, very good drive, it looks like currently. There's action up and down the field. It's barely lap 12, we're barely midway through the race, and everything's still happening. It's lap 13, it's Dami Ayo finally trying to find a way past James Birtwistle after he snuck past the lap before, side by side approaching the first chicane. Is it going to work? Both hard on the brakes. James does a good job of leaving him enough space. Dami seems to return the favor, and we're not going to be approaching the Mistral straight, where your exit from this sector is very important. Dami runs wide. James makes his way back. Great driving from James Birtwistle to defend his position there. Once again, we're on board with P2 and P3 in this race. I think Nico Vlamink may have been a little scared of Lucas Wick. Lucas Wick with a great pressure pass, and he has the better line, and I think he's going to make a stick this time around. Oh, what's this? What's this? The Aston Martin of Sean Buck also having a look up the inside. Nico Vlamink will not be happy. He has been in P2 for so long. He has been battling for P2. I'm sure he will want to defend his position, and he does. He does so successfully in the 22, backing out. It's lap 13. Dami Ayo's pass on the last lap failed. Gonna have a look once more at James Birtwistle in front. We have Ja in the background once again, trying to do what Dami did and just sniff for any potential mistakes. Runs a little wide. Dami's just following the bumper right now. We're approaching the final corner, going up to the start-finish straight. Can he do anything? He's currently looking left. Looks like James Birtwistle is going to defend the inside, and there's nothing to be done there. Oh, Dami's got a better run out of the first corner. Got a better run out of the first two corners. Once again, it's the same position as last time. Can he make a stick this time around? The side-by-side going into that first chicane, and Dami just about makes it. Leaves the room on the inside. James has a nice run out. Will Dami make the same mistake as last time? Oh, no, he keeps it a bit tidier this time. And it looks like Dami has finally made that position stick. Ja will be itching to get past James and get back once more into the race in front. Meanwhile, lap 14 is Nieromiski and Alfie battled. Alfie in the BMW and Nieromiski in the Porsche. The Porsche looking right, looking left. Alfie seems to run very wide. Good pressure from the Porsche of Nieromiski. Very good driving. Alfie slightly distracted, it looks like, by the car in his rearview mirrors, and just lets the Porsche through. The 727 Porsche. Oh, there he goes. There's Alfie looking back for the position, and nope, not this time. Not this time. Nieromiski makes his stick. 727 Porsche, good driving, and we've come to the final lap. It's lap 15. Nathan, with no pressure this race, great drive from pole position, comes around with a gap of 18 seconds to P2 behind him to finish this race in first position. He will be very pleased with the drive, a very tidy drive, no mistakes. Well done, Nathan. Very good drive. Behind him, Lucas Wick and Nico Vlamink are battling for position, and it looks like Lucas Wick is in P2 approaching the line, and Vlamix will have to settle for P3 with Sean Buck in P4. Phil Roberts with a fantastic drive in that Ginetta to keep it up into P5. Great drive-in from this race. After what was a very fun-packed first race, Nathan Wisniewski comes in first, Lucas Wick in second, Nico Vlamix in third. P4 is Sean Buck, P5 Phil Roberts. Gergely Mazak in P6, Robin de Groot P7, Nieromiski in 8th, Ian Marshall in 9th, Dami Ayo in 10th, James Birtwistle 11th, Jazech in 12th, Willie Pope 13th, Miller 14th, Wingham 15th, Batholt 16th, Seb Boss 17th, Krivoshev 18th, Walker 19th, Gleason in 20th, Hartley in 21st, Jack Haynes in 22nd, Steven DeVoist in 23rd, Jakob in 24th, Verboven in 25th, Vandermeer in 26th, Andy Yates in 27th, and Sam Phelps in 28th. That's how the first race finished, and remember, qualifying determines order for both races. We join the second race as drivers come past the start-finish straight. The right side of the line looks a bit further forward than it should be. Yep, there are two drive-thrus. We are four abreast as we approach the first corner. Oh my word, the Ginetta's trying to make a move up the inside. Is it going to be a clean one? Is everyone going to get through this okay? The 42 makes contact. Ginetta goes wide. The Ginetta is wide. The 22 with a bit of a wobble. It looks like the Porsche has lost position and is going to be back up to P3. It looks like Nathan Wisniewski has gone backwards at the start of this race with Sean Buck leading the race. Nope, permit me to change that. It's Nico Vlamink leading the race from Sean Buck. from Nathan Wisniewski at the front of the pack, Dami Ayo in P4, but it looks like the Ginetta and the Mercedes both have to serve drive-throughs for being out of position at the start of the race. Looks like there's also some potential carnage towards the middle of the pack. Not what we would like to see, but look, it may just be a bit of boisterous racing while everyone is trying to find their position in this pack. Remember, these drivers have already raced against each other for 30 minutes just before this, and now everyone's working their way back. Oh, Dami I seems to have had an accident. It says at the final corner, Kobler sings, and there is contact. There is contact. He's just stuck on the brakes there. Very unfortunate. Going backwards as well as the drive-through. Cannot seem to get across into the pits with all the cars going past. The Ginetta, on the other hand, of Phil Roberts managed to get in and serve his drive-through. So Dami will have to stay out for one more lap. Anyway, on to lap 2 is Mark Wingham and Jack Haynes battling for position. This is for P17 and P18. The BMW and the second Mercedes of the pack. This action corner of the final corner of the circuit. They're side by side. Who's going to have the better exit? In the background, you can see Dami Ayo going into service drive-through. Oh, almost caused a collision in the background there. Just to be more aware. Jack Haynes keeps the position in front. Jack Haynes does make the pass on Mark Wingham. Looks like Mark Wingham's going to try and make a little cut back into turn 1. We'll see the result of that later. Meanwhile, Gergely Mazak on lap 3 and Richie Hartley are having a little look for P11 and P12. Seems there's a bit of a computer issue. Some cars rubber banding about, but looks relatively safe. No damage taken by anyone. The Alpine and the Ginetta, two undervalued cars, I would say, in the GT4 series, having a great time now onto the Mistral Straight, and we know that the Alpine is like to pull away from the Ginetta, even though we know that both of them are both challenged for speed on the straight, I would say. Anyways, Mark Wingham and Jazic. Mark Wingham losing out to Jack Haynes early on, now trying to get past Jazic as well. I think Jaz managed to get past them while we were discussing the other passes happening. It's the 76. It's once again on this final start-finish straight. This seems to be one of his preferred moves. Is he going to have enough space to make it work? Ja has the inside line approaching turn 1. I do not think that this will be able to happen, but you can never tell. Oh, Ja cuts across to the racing line and covers off his position very nicely, I suppose. It's lap 4. It's Seb Buss and Jack Haynes. Jack Haynes seems to be in the wars a bit. He's just following these two Porsches as they battle with themselves, Sam Phelps and Seb Buss. There's Jack Haynes on the outside. Jack Haynes now on what will become the inside, and he's made the position work. He's made it work for him. He's got past Seb Buss. He will now be chasing down Phelps on the straight. There's a pack of cars hunting down that. Porsche going backwards. Not what he wanted, but I'm sure he will relish the opportunity to defend his position. Here we are on the straight. It's lap 4. It's Mark Wingham with the chunky BMW. I expect that he'll be able to make this into Corp de Sings. Is he going to make it work? He's on the inside. The Porsche runs very, very wide to give him space. Still within track limits, apparently, but very generous track limits as we go into the double rights, and he's been passed by the second BMW. Alfie Bat's ultimate that pass as well. Ja also trying to make a pass. I think he's lost 3, 4, 5 positions or so in the lap. He will not be happy. He would have wanted to defend better than that, but I'm sure he'll be working his way back as we go forward. Oh, Jack Haynes seems to have overcooked his brakes, overcooked his corner. He has run very wide, and it seems he'll be letting Mark Wingham right through. There he is. He's letting him through. Alfie letting him know that he's also coming past. Ooh, look at that front of Mark Wingham's car. He's had a bit of action in this race, but so haven't all the GT4s currently. Lots of paint being traded, but cars mostly pointing in the right direction, and the racing continuing hard and fast. It's lap 5. It's James Birtwistle and Ian Marshall down the Mistral Straight once more. This is a great passing opportunity for anyone. Looks like Ian Marshall's on the inside approaching Group de Sings. Is he going to make the cut? Is he going to make the corner safely? Yep, he makes it. Nice clean pass. No. Ooh, I don't think James was particularly happy with that. But from my vantage, I did not see anything wrong with that. And oh, he's having to defend from pressure from Nero Miski behind the 77 in that lovely livery. Meanwhile, on lap 5 at the front of the pack is Nathan Wisniewski and Sean Buck dancing for position. Remember, Nathan won this from Paul last time out. Sean with a great lunge to get past him. I think Sean is letting him through. I think these two may be having a little private battle of their own with rules that they have decided, and you know what? It's working out for them. They are pulling away from the rest of the grid. Nathan Wisniewski taking the lead from Sean Buck. Sean Buck looking like he's either thanking, warning, communicating with Nathan Wisniewski in some other way. Meanwhile, we get back to the straight, and I think this may be what Sean was setting up. He wanted Nathan in front of him. He wanted the he wanted the slipstream coming down the straight, and it looks like he has got it. That's some clever driving from Sean Buck if he thought that far ahead to set up this pass. It's only lap 6, but it seems this may be the course of the race going forward. Meanwhile, in the background, we had Wake going past Flemings and also keeping the position. That's P1, P2, P3, and P4. All within about 5 seconds of themselves, but in different packs. It's lap 6, it's Jazech and Sam Phelps. Usual overtaking spot, it looks like. Just after the Mistral Straights. Is anything going to open up for Ja here? Yep, he seems to have distracted Sam enough to run very, very wide, and Ja goes through. Just puts his lights in his rearview mirror, and Sam is sufficiently distracted to let him pass. That's Ja up into P16. No, sorry, apologies, P18. Some good passing. I would have to change that again. It's P17. Some good driving from Jazech, although now he seems to be very, very, very wide off track. He has to be careful with that. Also, stewards will be having a look at potentially giving him drive-throughs for violating track limits. Meanwhile, Jack Haynes is having a look at Alfie Batholt in front. He's taking the racing line. He's taking... Oh, there's a car coming out of the pits. Yeah, it's all happening. He makes it... Oh, he just makes a straight pass. He makes a straight pass on the start-finish straights. His first to turn 1, first to turn 2, keeps it on track, and I think he has made that pass on Alfie Bathol's stick. That is Jack Haynes up into P15, it looks like. A train of cars once more. This GT4 has provided some very close racing. This Ginetta of Richie Hartley trying to fend off the big, chunky BMW coming up behind of Mark Wingham. Mark Wingham slips out to the racing line after a bit of slipstream down the Mistral Straight. The Richie Hartley is just sitting duck in that Ginetta currently. He's just going to have to hope that he can find a way past once we get into the twistier parts of the circuit once more. But Mark Wingham cleanly up into P13 on lap 7, leaving Richie Hartley for dust in his back. Good driving from Mark Wingham. It's lap 7. It's Alex Walker and Phil Roberts dancing for position once more. It's yet another Ginetta. Phil Roberts, remember having to serve his drive-thru earlier in the race, trying to claw back as many positions as he can for his championship overall, with a nice overtake around the outside. Oh, and he makes his stick as well. Very good driving. Now, that is what the Ginetta can do for you on the brakes. He may not have the greatest top speed, but fantastic driving by Phil Roberts there. Gets past Walker into 23rd. Alex Walker going backwards. James Birtwistle and Nieromiski. Remember, Nieromiski was having a sniff earlier on. I think he's going to be able to pull out after the slipstream up the Mistral Straight. We're approaching Curb de Sings. Side by side, no one's yielding yet, but there's still lots of track to be driven down. Ooh, looks like the Aston Martin's pulling out in front again. Nieromiski may have to time his escape from the slipstream better next time. That grunt of James Birtwistle's car just keeping him in front. Some good driving right there. Meanwhile, Sebas, Sam Phelps on lap 9, this little group of cars. These two drivers were together for a lot of the last race, if I remember correctly. And once again, they're having a look at each other. They must be sick and tired of themselves, all very, very happy to have both themselves, because now they understand each other even better. They're trading positions. Every other lap, one's in front of the other. It's yellow from orange Porsche. Ooh, and we have a little KTM having a look in the background. It's ND8 having a look. I think ND8 may even make that pass stick. Meanwhile, back on lap 9, our front two have pulled away from everyone else. Nathan Wisniewski. Once again, it looks like Sean Buck is happy to concede the position on the start-finish straights. This is some clever driving if this is the case, but between both of them, they are working their way forward. It looks like they are not holding each other up in their battle as much as possible, and that's the clever thing to do when you're racing. They are not yielding positions to each other, but what they're doing is pulling away from Lucas Wick and Flemings behind. And the more they do this, the more time they have to battle towards the end of the race. Meanwhile, it's lap 9, number 29, Jazech and Jack Haynes battling for position. It's this exit from the final corner of the circuit. Ja runs very wide once again. He is beginning to struggle with that corner. It looks like seems to have got enough of a run up on Jack Haynes, and Jack wisely gets out of the way, lets him through, and lives to fight another day. Ja up into P13. Very good drive, Ja, so far. Sean Buck and Nathan Wisniewski, our leaders once again. It's lap 10. It does not look like Sean was able to make the pass work on the Mistral Straight this time, but we're going to the double droit, and Nathan's run very wide. Nathan's run very wide on the double right-handers, and Sean Buck is clean through. Some big brain plays happening up in front. And as you can tell, even the leaders of this pack, as dominant as they have been, also succumb to pressure. Good driving from Schomburg, nice and composed behind Nathan Wisniewski. They showed him a little bit of pressure and he got through okay. Meanwhile, Ian Marshall and Christopher Verboven. Ian defended from Christopher down the Mr. Straight. Ian in the Aston Martin, Christopher in the Chevy. He's got the inside. He's got the inside into Sings. And he's going to keep it. He's going to be first to the double door. And I think he's even right in front. Yep, he's claimed the racing line from Ian Marshall. That's a good clean pass from 84 Christopher Verboven, but Ian Marshall's better on the brakes going through the double rights. Oh, there's a little bit of rubbing, there's a little bit of racing. Ooh, a bit of a slide from the Aston Martin, but he keeps the position in front. I think Christopher's unhappy there, but on review, he would have to look at himself as well in that situation. Meanwhile, Seb Buss and Sam Phelps, we have said their names many times. They are side by side. They are coming through this. They're coming through Curb the Sings. They're approaching the double door. We have a KTM in the background, sniffing for positions, and the 8's doing what he does best. Very good driving from him, by the way. Seb Buss keeps the position in front. Seb Buss looks to have got past Sam Phelps nice and clearly. He's got a bit of a wobble. He's got a wibble. He's got a wobble. He gives Sam Phelps a little bit of an opportunity on the inside. Is Sam going to be able to take it? No, he's still behind him. As we approach the start finish straight up to lap 10, going to lap 11, it looks like. Yep, Sam Phelps looking within left, within right, trying to find a way past. Seb just claiming the middle ground as his. Oh, what a move by Sam Phelps. Very late on the brakes. First to turn 1, first to turn 2. Leaves him just about enough space to avoid the collision. And then we said it, and the 8 was waiting for the opportunity while they still battled the front, and he's just got through. And the 8 has made his way, split the two Porsches. What's great driving from that pack of drivers. Meanwhile, we're once again on board with Jack Haynes and Jazz Edge. These two have stuck together for most of this race. Is Jack Haynes having a look at Ja running wide? Ja seems to have some issues with his brakes at times, but is he just being very defensive? This is the corner where he's struggled a few times. I think Jack Haynes has seen that in the previous laps, and he's timed his cut back to perfection. He's got a better run out of the corner. He is first to the start-finish line. That's Jack Haynes for position. Jack Haynes has got past Ja into P13. This battle continues to rage on. Meanwhile, Nieromiski in a pack of cars. He's got ND8 in front of him. He's got Sam Phelps behind him. He's got Seb Buss behind him. He's got Phil Roberts in the Ginetta. But Nieromiski trying to make the pass around the outside of the final corner. They're approaching the start finish straight. There's Nieromiski. Nieromiski makes the pass. There's a pack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars watching this action up in front of him. Oh, what great driving from the 727. Like a Boeing, he flew right past. It's 4 wide. That's across the start finish straight behind him. It's 3 wide, 4 wide. It's all happening. Meanwhile, Gergely Mazak on lap 12 and James Burtwhistle battling for position. Gergely has the slipstream. I must have misspoke about the Alpine not having top side speed because he is making this car go. There's Gergely approaching the outside of the Curb the Sings. I think he sensibly backs out to avoid a track limit. Oh, he goes for the comeback. He's back on the inside. He's on the inside of James Burtwhistle. Nope, James is first to the corner. Leaves him enough space on the inside. The 808 takes the position. He's got the cleaner line. He's got the cleaner exit out of double door. And, yep, he's made it work. Meanwhile, Sam Phelps and ND8. Remember, ND8 managed to split the Porsche pair of Sam Phelps and Seb Buss. And got past both of them while I was blabbering on. Here's Sam Phelps. Sam Phelps was trying to get past ND8 on the straight. Seb Buss saying if he could follow through. Nope. So Andy returns into the meeting the sandwich of Porsches. He must be sick of seeing the Porsche logo. But you know, oh, nope. Seb Buss with some great brake work. And I think Seb has made it past him as well. Gergely once again having a look at James Burtwhistle. So this is a repeat of what we saw 2 laps ago. Gergely trying to hope that this time around he can make it stick. He's on the outside approaching Curb the Sings. He's going to be the first. Nope, James Burtwhistle is first there. I think he's applying the pressure as best as he can, Gergely Mazak. He's looking for any way to get past them as cleanly as he can. He tries to stick it on the outside of the double rides. It's not happening. James is also running a little wide. They must have some good exits from that corner. Meanwhile, lap 13, Phil Roberts and Nieromiski having another fantastic battle. Phil Roberts and his Ginetta has had a very good drive. After his drive-through, dropping all the way back to the back of the pack, he's now up into P17 and just getting past Nieromiski for P16. Approaching the start-finish straight, there's nothing the Porsche can do. Made a mistake in the corner before, and yep, that's Phil Roberts. recovery drive continuing up into P16 as crosses the start-finish line. Lap 13, Alfie Batholter somehow got himself a stop and go 30. He would not be happy with that. Nico Vlaming's in P4 has got himself a drive-through. Meanwhile, Ian Marshall and Christopher Verboven are trading positions as best they can. Cars running wide in the background. It's the 118 Aston Martin of Ian Marshall. He's on the inside of Christopher Verboven. Verboven just runs very wide. Verboven has run very wide, letting Ian Marshall through. I think Verboven's going to try and make a move around the outside, but we know Ian Marshall's good enough on the brakes in this Aston Martin. The Aston Martin has the grunts to pull away from the Chevy in such close quarters, I would say. And yep, he's clean through and down to the race finish. Schumbuck seems to be behind Wisniewski. So it looks like Wisniewski leading from Schumbuck. Coming around the final corner. P1 Wisniewski. Oh no, Wisniewski's pulled off. I think the dance has continued all the way to the final line. Schumbuck in P1, Nathan Wisniewski in P2. And we've got Lucas Wick in P3. Very great drive. Action-packed drive up and down the field. What a pleasure it's been recording this. Ooh, I cannot wait to see what this means for the standings. After what turned out to be a very intense battle in this second race, Schumbuck and Wisniewski going hammer and tongs all the way through. Schumbuck ends up in P1, Wisniewski in P2, Wick in P3. Willie Pope made it up to P4, Nico Vlaming's in P5, Ian Marshall up to P6, Christopher Verboven in P7, Jens Birtwhistle P8, Ruben de Groot P9, Miller P10, P11 was Mazak, P12 Wingham, P13 Haynes, P14 Phil Roberts after his drive-through. Some fantastic recovery drive by him. Jazic made it up to 15th, Nieromiski 16th, Dami Ayo in 17th, Andy Yates in the KTM in P18. Phelps in P19, Jakob P20th, Alex Walker made it to 21st, Van der Meer 22nd, Steven De Voist 23rd, Gleason 24th, Seb Bosbach in 25th, Krivoshev 26th, Hartley 27th, and Siklovan 28th. As you can see, there were 3 drivers that had penalties to serve towards the end of the race, and that affected their overall standings. But all in all, a very good race from all involved. Some great driving up and down the field. All the drivers here will be very, very, very motivated for the next race, I can imagine. Now let's go have a look at what that means for the standings. After what turned out to be 2 very intense battles up and down the field, the standings for the series so far: Nathan Wisniewski in P1, 262 points, Schumbuck in P2, 219, Nico Vlaming's in P3 with 147, Jens Birtwhistle is in P4 with 143, Ian Marshall P5, 142, Marcin Olejars, after not racing today, P6, P7 is Dami Ayo sharing the points with Willie Pope in P8, and also Lucas Wick in P9. Phil Roberts, after a tumultuous day today, is in P10, followed by Alfie Batholt in P11. Ruben de Groot made it to 12th. Gergely Mazak is currently in P13. Christopher Verboven in the Chevy, P14. Joe Gleason is in P15. Nieromiski, P16. Jazic in P17. And Mark Wingham in P18, running out the first half of the grid. The second half of the grid has Jack Haynes in P19, Johannes van der Meer in P20, Stefan Miller in 21st, Alex Siklovan in 22nd, Andre Leptis in 23rd, Sam Phelps in 24th, Alex Walker in 25th, Steven De Voist in 26th, Oleg Krivoshev in 27th, Andy Yates in 28th, Richie Hartley in 29th, Peter Jakob in 30th, Seb Buss in 31st, Mathieu DeLuca in 32nd, Daniel Polster, the first driver without any points, in 33rd, followed by Thomas Van Zanten and Phil Mykraken. Thank you very much for joining us. We're looking forward to the next race of Zolder. It's going to be fun. It's going to be action-packed. And once again, there's always a chance of rain.